What's up, guys? It's Benny. Never a great look to humiliate and embarrass your boss on their first day at work. You will suffer the consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, the entire world was waiting with bated anticipation for the release of the Epstein list. Pam Bondi had teased on this program that the Epstein list, along with all of the files and videos, names and clients, would all be released imminently. She said that it was burning a hole on her desk at this very moment, and within days, we would have the list. And what did we get? Well, yikes. We got binders handed to influencers. And those binders said declassified on them. That's interesting. The Epstein files. What were in those binders? Well, what was in those binders were publicly available information, flight logs, that had all been redacted, actually, even though it was already public. So it was actually a spitting in the face of Pam Bondi and everybody who wanted further information. It was a total and complete insult. And also, of course, smiling with the names of abused children and women in your hands is just never a good look. So all of it, I think you could say, was an embarrassing episode and botched, to say the least. Nobody was particularly happy about this. Pam Bondi expressly unhappy, saying that she found out that the FBI field office in New York, which of course led the prosecution cover-up and probably murder of Jeffrey Epstein, was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation. Despite my repeated request, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. This, of course, would be a direct affront to the highest law enforcement official in the land. How could the FBI behave like this? Of course, this is the absolute evidence of the deep state in existence. They don't care who's elected. They're going to do what they want to do, and they're going to keep secrets from you, me, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. It doesn't really matter. And Kash Patel came in over the top saying he's pissed about all of this. The FBI is entering a new era, one that will be defined by integrity, accountability, and unwavering pursuit of justice. There will be no cover-ups, missing documents, or stone left unturned. Anybody from the prior or current bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Pam Bondi teasing just a few hours ago that the people who staged this cover-up and embarrassed the administration on a national level and defied her won't be working for us anymore. And ladies and gentlemen, the man in charge of the FBI field office in New York, James Dennehy, has been forced to resign, breaking immediately following the accusations from the Department of Justice in regards to his office hiding thousands of Epstein documents. James Dennehy is a vicious, psychotic, anti-Trump activist who promised his agency that he was going to fight Trump. He promised his department at the field office in New York, where all evidence goes to die, that he was going to dig in and fight the Trump administration like it was an actual war. Check this out.
FBI officials are resisting, openly resisting. Let me just read you from an email that was sent by the assistant director in charge of the New York field office yesterday. His name is James Dennehy. He sent this extraordinarily blunt email to his staff challenging the Trump administration. He said, "Today we find ourselves in the middle of a battle of our own, as good people are being walked out of the FBI and others are being targeted because they did their jobs in accordance with the law and FBI policy."
Time to dig in. Yeah, all right. How's that working out for you, buddy? Top FBI official force out after criticizing Trump pursuit of agents who investigated January 6th. So you're criticizing Trump and you're withholding evidence from Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. You'll be lucky if just a early retirement is all that happens to you, pal. James Dennehy should be charged for a myriad of crimes, and we'll get into those in just a second. The head of the FBI's New York field office is out 1 month after he urged his colleagues to dig in after the new administration requested the names of all agents who worked on the Capitol riots. Well. You know who's next in line is James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey. What a rat's nest up there in New York. James Comey's daughter, she worked there, and she also, Maureen Comey, just so happened to work inside of the Southern District of New York assistant attorney's office. This is, of course, the office that handled, well, the Epstein trial, Ghislaine Maxwell trial, the Diddy trial. Oh, she just a happenstance. James Comey's daughter happens to work on all of those cases. And it looks like James Comey literally in drag here. This is Maureen Comey. Maureen Comey worked and handled all of these cases and probably made sure that all of the evidence was destroyed. But now it is the head of the FBI field office in New York, James Dennehy, whose career is destroyed. He's been held accountable for withholding the Epstein files. He's been forced to resign, famously sent out an email urging everyone to dig in. Ladies and gentlemen, this individual, of course, was somebody who was widely reported to be in possession of not just papers, but we've all seen the photos and videos of Epstein's house in Manhattan that was raided. It was a $50 million mansion. It was where a series of major crimes were committed. World leaders, we all saw them going in and out through the doors. Bill Gates, Ehud Barak, the prime minister of Israel, right? And a ton of others. There were terabytes of information, hard drives, cell phones, CDs, a box marked evidence, not by the FBI, by Epstein himself. Marker written on it saying insurance policy. Diamonds, passports. Where were the passports to? What other countries gave Epstein passports? We don't have any of that. Where did it all go? We have photos of it, but we don't have any of that. All right, these jackasses are covering it up. Jesse Waters reporting what a absolute witch's kitchen this office is.
In charge at the New York FBI field office, who's withholding Epstein docs from the Attorney General. James Dennehy is running the show there. There he is. This is the guy who emailed his whole staff to dig in after Trump took office. And don't forget that James Comey's daughter is an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. She worked on the Epstein and Maxwell cases. She's kind of knee-deep in this. Epstein was facing sex trafficking charges in Lower Manhattan. Where's all that paperwork? The FBI seized computers, surveillance videos, banking records, file cabinets, and photographs from all of Epstein's properties in New Mexico, the Virgin Islands, Palm Beach, and in New York. The Justice Department also gave Epstein a sweetheart non-prosecution deal 17 years ago. Where are those files? The Bureau of Prisons. Where are those files? You remember where Epstein killed himself? I asked Bill Barr about that, why everything seemed to go wrong that night.
When I first heard all the information and all the coincidences here, I was suspicious.
What were the coincidences? I mean, those were a lot of coincidences.
Well, one of the cameras was out.
Right.
He was supposed to have a cellmate. The cellmate left. They didn't replace the cellmate. And the guards who were supposed to check him every half hour didn't check him.
My EMT source said he was on the scene immediately to pull Epstein's body out to the morgue. And when he got to the cell, he saw 7 people there touching Epstein's body and moving stuff around.
Bill Barr needs to be dragged in next. These people are just absolutely nasty. After saying to dig in for battle with the Trump administration over the request for the names of FBI agents who work on the January 6 cases, he's retired under pressure. You know what that means. That means Kash Patel did the little flight up to New York and gave him 2 very brutal options. We'll see. We'll see if he even escapes with. We'll see if he escapes without catching a case himself. James Dennehy, good freaking riddance. Hopefully now we can get some files. And you know what? You heard it on this show first. Kyle Seferin was on our program, FBI whistleblower, and he had this to say about James Dennehy just a few days ago. And now it's real. Here we go.
We have footage right here on the footage that should have never been public, right? That's a dude flying a drone of the FBI raiding Epstein's island with the New York Police Department. All right, you can see their shiny vests, and these bros in this frame and all out of play, they're carrying out They're having an entire human army carrying out boxes of information. Yep, you can see the FBI carrying the physical information from Jeffrey Epstein's pedo island. And then they're just going to lie. They're just going to straight up lie to Pam Bondi and actually humiliate her, which is what makes my blood boil. They embarrassed her.
They don't feel accountable. They don't feel accountable to the attorney general. If I'm going to give advice to Kash Patel, I'll do it just here, like to everybody.
Please.
This is what should happen. Kash should jump on that plane, which we talked about last time. He can get on there and he could be in New York in a few minutes.
Yes.
He needs to go up there, take James Dennehy, who's been on a conference call and resisting, apparently, like releasing any of this information. He needs to stand in his office and give him a direct order, open up the file that covers all of these investigations in Sentinel, which is the record-keeping sort of system of records for the computer. Pull it up and go serial by serial. And every single person that approved a serial is an entry, whether it be an interview, whether it be a piece of evidence, every single person that was involved in this case, whether they're an evidence technician, whether they were an SOS, like some kind of an analytical personnel, whether they were an intelligence analyst or the FBI case agent who was working on it. Any person that did an interview, that collected evidence, that did anything that has their name on it needs to be called into a conference room, whatever field office they're in. And if there's a retired person that's in there and they've left the bureau, send somebody to their house to hang out with them and get the answers like by the end of the day.